Hi there guys, Sam here. Welcome back to another video. Joining once again in my Mark 7 Golf R to talk a little bit around the Mark 8 Golf R, the 0 to 60 times that it kind of came up against, and yeah, some of the drag races and just my thoughts around it, and yeah, kind of comparing it, my current thoughts as we're sort of like middle of March now, between the Mark 7. And yeah, let's get straight into this one. So welcome back to another video. I hope everyone is all well. Now, I've had lots of comments this week on basically drag races from other channels, and this has been around the Mark 8 Golf R. Drag races, hugely popular on YouTube, like to a point where CarWow has solely gained around, what, 5 million subscribers just purely by doing drag races. And I think a lot of channels try to copy that to then try and make, well, get subscribers, get views, and make a ton of money. That's basically the idea. And it's always exciting to watch, particularly when it's a new car. Now, the first one that sort of happened, and I kind of discussed this before, was the Mark 8 Golf R came up against the M135i and the A35, and it won comfortably. You know, no questions about it. You know, you can't even say there was any sort of bias and, you know, there's any incorrect launches. It was dominant in the rolling race and the standing race. So really great to see. But it never really showed like what the 0 to 60 time was or anything like that. The next one that came up was the one from CarWow, and they timed the Mark 8 Golf R just over 4 seconds. 4 seconds to 60 is, yeah, pretty quick for a hot hatch, I think you'll all agree. And the next part that came up was it was up against an A45S. Now, this was the one that I found the most interesting, and a subscriber pinged me and said, oh, have you checked this out? And I hadn't. I checked it out and I was like, that's surprising. Basically, it didn't necessarily win, but it gave it such a good run for its money. It gave a car which is in the price bracket above, you know, £10,000-15,000 more expensive. Also, yeah, higher in so many different levels, probably higher to maintain and service, higher to insure, all these kind of parts. And it really pushed it hard. And I've kind of noticed this in the past from just this EA AAA engine that's in the Mark 7 and the 7.5. Just from like really older, say like Evo drag races, you watch, even like whether it's a manual or a DSG or not, once the car gets above sort of 70-80 miles an hour, this engine pulls. It does not relent. It keeps going, and you 100% know it's going to hit 155 miles an hour. So it's always been impressive. Now in this new guys, this Evo 4 version of the EA 888 for the Mark 8 R, it's got an extra punch, you know, an extra, 316 horsepower, a bit more torque. With the DSG gearbox, which comes as standard now, it doesn't even look like it makes a difference. There's no shudder, there's no kickback on the gear changes. You know, I'm changing gears in a manual, it's like but yeah, it's just so smooth, and that means that the car is able to accelerate quicker, whether it has more power, whether it has like a lot more power or not. It just is. There's been some tweaks there, and it's massively impressive, and a lot of people are very impressed with that. And fair play, it's very quick. And yeah, credit to the car, and yeah, credit to the kind of people who put the effort and work into the engine from VW and to the automatic gearbox. I think it's great. Now, getting on to kind of my thoughts around this, and yeah, I'm not sure if everyone will agree with it, but yeah, this is just kind of my theory on it all. Drag races fundamentally don't really mean anything if you're going to actually physically own a car. Maybe it's a bit of a top trumps kind of car. I've got the newest, and it just so happens to be one of the fastest, which some people prefer. Well, a lot of people prefer, and that's why they go for it. The odd occasion where you will be at the lights, and yeah, that will work, and you enable launch control, and you fiddle around with your buttons, and your tires are up to temperature, and it's not raining. It is few and far between. And also, those drag races are significantly above UK speed limits anyway. So they're not particularly relevant in any single way. Now, I've actually come back from a run today, and I probably can't even count on two hands the amount of Mark 7 and Mark 7.5 cars I've seen around. 3-door manuals, 3-door DSGs, 5 doors in white, just like subtle as anything. So yeah, if you've been driving today, me filming this is on the Saturday, around sort of like the Hatfield area, yeah, that's where I've been. So I've seen you guys, and I've looked at those cars and I've gone, they're proper special. They look so special, and it puts even more of a smile on my face because A, you can't buy them anymore. You can't buy them new anymore. B, there so many out there. They sold in their thousands. And C, they represent ridiculously good value. I mean, I'm sitting in a 2017 Mark 7 Golf R, 3-door manual, 31,000 miles. I don't know, 16, 17,000 pounds you can probably get this car for. I mean, it's a fantastic deal, and it's in a sweet spot, really. And that's why I kind of started the channel. That's why I've built up the community. You know, you guys are a huge part of this channel. And that's what I love so much about it. And to sum up, the Mark 8 Golf R, to get itself up to this level, has got a very hard job on its hands. Almost an impossible job, and that's not necessarily through the failings of VW or anything. There's so many different reasons. I mean, how long has this Golf R been sort of knocking around? It's sold in so many countries worldwide since 2014, so what, 6 years or so? And that's a long time. They've built up a lot of, you know, people know them inside out. You know, if there's an issue with them, someone knows what it's about. You know, they know the common faults, they know what's good about them, and I love it for that. And you go to the Mark 8R, it's just come out. No one really owns it. A handful of people are going to own it. We're in a state of time, middle of March, where unfortunately in the UK, we're still in full lockdown. New car sales are at an all-time low. I think someone said since like the 80s or something like that. So like 30, 40 years. It's never been so low, which again means it's an uphill task. People putting their money into expensive cars, which this is an expensive car. £40,000 is not cheap for a daily driver, regardless of inflation, and that's just the way technology moves up to. It's a very expensive car for the money, and it's also obviously up against the regulations, the legislations that come in place, and the fact that it's going to go electric. VW announced this week actually that they reckon, I've put the article up, it's about 80% of their vehicles by 2030 will be all electric. 80% of all their cars. That is saying goodbye to what we know and love about hot hatches today. There's no question about it. They're not going to be investing anymore in getting these kind of cars with a combustion engine. They're just not. As much as I hope that they would make some sort of special R, like a swan song, it's unlikely to happen. Priorities are elsewhere. And unfortunately, it doesn't massively appeal to me at this stage. I don't, you know, I'll still always do content on the 8R. I think it's cool. It's a cracking car. I love talking to owners who've kind of got them. That's been fantastic part of the channel, actually, particularly this year. But for me, at my kind of stage, I'm kind of like, and I don't know what other 7 or 7R, 7.5 owners are thinking, but just stick with this. It's like, it's such a brilliant car. I'm not afraid to kind of certainly put some heavy miles on it once we're allowed to, you know, take it to some road trip, maybe even to some events, maybe some R events. I'm sure some of you might know me. I've had we're coming up to actually nearly 1,700 subscribers on the channel, which is bonkers. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, and get involved, subscribe if you've got to this far into the video. Check out other content that I've done. And yeah, it's a community channel. I'll go through all the comments, I'll acknowledge them, and you lot also spur on other videos. I'm also on Instagram, so just check out my YouTube channel homepage, and you've got Instagram sort of on the top. It's just next to like all the pictures of Golf 8Rs in shiny, yeah, looking awesome. Actually, I think they were the ones from Switzerland, actually, which is cool, which a subscriber sent me. So yeah, that out the way, it's got a really difficult task. And as much as I love these drag races, and you know, even to a degree, some are just the normal reviews on these cars because they've been more sort of knocking around. We're just in a different time. I spent a bit of time recently just reading through Evo magazines from 2016, 2017, just some old ones that I had. And that was an era of cars which was just so exciting. You could, if you had the money, you could get into cars, you could not lose any money, and you could have just the best. You know, they were not hampered by regulations. It was just an era of no coronavirus, and they all worked so well. And I still aspire maybe to own something like that in the future. And the R was right in the middle of that. All the hot hatches were just like, what is this all about? How are we going to compete with this? We're going to have to match it. Look at BMW, you know, how are we going to compete with this car? And it set the benchmark, and I love it for that. And for me, it's a car that will go down in 10 years time. People will look back and go, 7R is pretty sweet. And they'll still be going on the road because it's German built. I mean, I'm 4 years in and this car has not put a foot wrong other than a flat battery. It's been brilliant. And I guess car ownership and stuff like that does have, you know, it's a little bit about the soul as well. If you're a car enthusiast, you know, like me, I like cars. I'm passionate about cars, like them all really. And the 8R hasn't really got that yet. I think it probably will. I hope it does. I hope they do some like ridiculous lease deals. I think there are some deals on the cars, but it will take some time for things to settle down. And unfortunately, we just don't know where things are, particularly in the UK, which is obviously a huge market for the R. Yeah, where things are going. And I'm interested to see what the manual version as well is like in the US. So yeah, you guys will have to let me know on that one, and I'll obviously share some content on it and across the world as well. See what you lot think of this one in comparison to the previous one. Yeah, so really cool stuff on there. I think VW have made some huge improvements, and I think, you know, they've put pen to paper and you can kind of actually see the results. You know, it doesn't really lie. I will say the video against the A45S, everyone loves an underdog, and that's kind of why I like this kind of car in general. You know, it can, you know, I can fly past 55,000 pound Jags with no problem. And I felt that they were rooting for the 8R more than the A45S. So I don't know if that had anything into it. You know, are you going to be slightly off throttle? Are you going to mess up your gear change? I don't know. You just don't know these kind of things. But cool nonetheless. I think we've got a really good idea now of what this car is like. And, you know, congratulations to those who picked one up or are getting some in the future. And again, if you're not in a position to get a car like that, yeah, still stay tuned to the channel, because, you know, I've got this Mark 7R. I love sharing content on it. I love the community about it, and that's kind of what kind of keeps the channel going. And yeah, hopefully you lot enjoy it. But let me know your thoughts. What do you actually think about all of this? You know, a car that does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds, it's quick, but it's also just natural evolution. You expect things to get quicker. That's just how your brain works. You look at, if I take Fiestas for example, the Mark 6 much slower than the Mark 7. The Mark 7 much slower than the Mark 8. That's just how it was. It just, you know, progression in engineering and stuff. That's just how things work, even with hampering, you know, weight penalties and emission issues. You know, Mark 7R much quicker than the Mark 6R. The 8R, is it much quicker? Remember, in the real world, you've got to think to yourself, in 4 seconds in your, say if I'm talking to someone who's in a 7.5 DSGR, maybe a 3-door, lose it, you can save it a bit of weight. Within 4 seconds, if you've done launch control, how fast is your car going? I can probably guess it's going over 50 miles an hour. So in the real world, with real cars and real traffic, you're not really losing out to a you know, to an 8R. You're just not. I mean, that car's going to take off if it blasts into, like, you know, license losing speed for sure. But I'm not like, yeah, I'm not sitting here. You know, if I was at the lights against one, I'd have a smile on my face, but I wouldn't feel like, oh god, that car's so much better than this. I just don't feel that. And also the price. It's not a community car. It's not a community car. It's not a people's car like it used to be. And that's what I like about my channel, because lots of people can buy them, lots of people can attain them, and you don't have to be rich and dripping with cash to be able to have one. And that's great. That's what I like, and it puts a smile on my face when I see them. This car, okay, you can finance them, you can lease them, but it doesn't take away the fact that you're still having a 40 to 45,000 pounds worth of debt against your name on an asset which is depreciating. So it's hard. It's hard to, yeah, see that in as a people's car anymore. Maybe as years to come, I'll change my mind on that. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the those drag races. What do you think about the 8R? What do you think about it in comparison to this 7R? And yeah, let me know your thoughts as always in the comments. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. If you got this far in the video, please do like the video. Yeah, I do get plenty of views, which is great. You know, the support has been fantastic, and the likes are what actually really does put the video out there. So yeah, if I could ask one thing from this channel, which is free to view from you guys, it would be to like a video, like the video if you've enjoyed it. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, fantastic rest of your week. Hope you've been enjoying the content on the 8R and content on my channel as well. Plenty more content to come, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.